At 6:14 on a Tuesday morning, you wake up before your alarm. The room is quiet except for the soft hum of the air conditioner. Pale sunlight slips through the edge of the curtains and lands across the wooden floor. You shuffle into the kitchen, wearing yesterday's t-shirt, fill a kettle with water, and watch tiny bubbles collect along the bottom before they begin to dance. Your phone lights up on the counter. No urgent emails, no missed calls from your bank, no message asking where the payment is. You sip your coffee while looking out the window at people already rushing towards somewhere. You don't rush anymore. For the first time, your calendar belongs to you. And as strange as it sounds, none of this began when you earned $1 million. It began the day you crossed your first 100,000. But to understand why this morning feels so different, you have to go back to the version of you who stared at a balance so small it barely seemed worth protecting. Back when $500 felt like a mountain, the apartment smelled faintly of instant noodles and laundry detergent. Your laptop balanced on a scratched kitchen table because there wasn't room for a desk. Every purchase came with a silent calculation. If you bought takeout tonight, something else had to wait. You weren't chasing wealth, you were chasing breathing room. You learned one skill after work. Sometimes it was writing, sometimes sales, sometimes investing tiny amounts that felt almost embarrassing. Your friends laughed when you skipped expensive weekends. Live a little, one of them said, while ordering another round. You smiled. You ordered water. They thought you were missing life. You quietly wondered if they were borrowing tomorrow to enjoy today. You didn't know it then, but that tiny decision was pulling on a thread that would eventually unravel your entire future. The first change wasn't dramatic. It almost went unnoticed. You were 26. Rain tapped against your apartment window while you refreshed your bank app for the third time that morning. There it was. Enough money to cover several months of expenses. Nothing glamorous. No celebration, but something inside you relaxed. For the first time, losing your job no longer felt like falling off a cliff. At work, your manager criticized a project in front of everyone. A year earlier, your stomach would have twisted itself into knots. This time, you simply listened, not because you stopped caring, because fear had loosened its grip. Across the room, a coworker stayed late every night, hoping one more hour would finally earn approval. You packed your bag when the clock struck 6. Walking to your car beneath gray skies, you noticed something impossible to explain. Confidence had arrived before success ever looked impressive, and that quiet shift was about to be tested. By 29, the coffee shop near your apartment knew your order before you spoke. You worked there every Saturday morning, not because you had to, because consistency had become part of your identity. The old version of you waited for motivation. This version simply showed up around you. Conversations floated through the air. Someone bragged about doubling their money in a week. Another person claimed a new opportunity couldn't fail. The numbers sounded intoxicating. Even you felt it. Imagine skipping years. Imagine waking up rich next month. That temptation followed you home. Videos, forums, friends, sending screenshots of unbelievable gains. For one evening, your finger hovered over the button. One decision, one shortcut, one chance to leap ahead. Instead, you closed the laptop. The room suddenly felt silent, almost disappointing. Weeks later, the shortcut collapsed exactly the way quiet instincts had warned it would. You didn't feel smarter. You just felt grateful, because sometimes the biggest victory is the disaster nobody knows you avoided, and something unexpected was waiting around the corner. 32 arrived at an airport. Your backpack rolled behind you as sunlight poured across polished floors. Families hurried toward gates. Business travelers balanced coffee cups and laptops. You weren't flying first class. That wasn't the point. The point was that you weren't asking permission anymore. You could visit your parents without calculating unpaid days. You could leave on a Wednesday. You could stay until Sunday. During dinner, your cousin couldn't stop talking about promotions. Another title, another raise, another promise that next year would finally feel easier. You listened while helping your mother clear the dishes. Outside, Crickets filled the evening air. Your life wasn't bigger than his. It was quieter, and for the first time, silence felt expensive. As you drove back to the airport before sunrise, you realized freedom never arrives all at once. It sneaks into ordinary moments until one day you notice your life no longer revolves around someone else's schedule. Then something even stranger begins happening. You're 35, Saturday afternoon, a grocery store. You stand in front of the fruit section, absent-mindedly picking the better strawberries instead of the cheaper ones. A tiny decision, one you never used to make. You pass a father telling his daughter to put something back because they'll buy it next month. The words echo in your head long after you've walked away. That evening, you send money to your parents without mentioning it. Your phone buzzes. Your mother's reply contains only 3 words. We're so relieved. No fireworks, no luxury car, no dramatic announcement, just relief. You begin noticing that money's greatest gift isn't buying things. It's removing invisible weight from people you love. Friends still compare watches, cars, vacations. You notice yourself caring less every month, which feels confusing because you spent years believing you'd care more. And then the number finally arrives. 100,000. Not income, not possessions, not appearances, just 100,000 quietly sitting there. The moment is almost disappointingly ordinary. You're sitting in your bedroom, wearing sweatpants. The washing machine spins in the next room. Outside, someone is mowing a lawn. You refresh the screen twice because your brain refuses to believe it. There it is. Nothing explodes. No orchestra begins playing. The world keeps moving exactly as it did 5 seconds earlier. Yet something irreversible happens inside your mind. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to become financially stable. You become someone who already is. The difference is invisible to everyone else, but impossible for you to unsee. That night, you sleep more deeply than you have in years. Not because every problem disappeared, because survival is no longer the main story of your life. You thought reaching 100,000 would change your bank account. Instead, it quietly changed your identity. Years later, you're 40. The morning begins at exactly 6:14 again. The same kettle, the same sunlight stretching across the floor, the same coffee warming your hands. Only now you notice things your younger self would have missed. Birds outside the window, steam curling upward, the absence of panic. Your phone buzzes. A friend you've known since your 20s messages you. He's exhausted, still chasing another promotion, still postponing vacations, still saying he'll slow down after 1 more year. You type a response, then erase it, not because you don't care, because everyone has to arrive at certain realizations on their own. You set the phone face down. The coffee has cooled enough to drink. Outside, traffic thickens. People hurry toward meetings they'll forget, deadlines they'll replace, arguments that won't matter next month. You simply watch. There was a time you thought your first 100,000 would make you feel important. Instead, it made importance itself seem strangely small. The money was never the ending. It was the quiet moment your future stopped feeling like something you had to chase and started waiting for you at 6:14 every morning.